Thomas Enevoldsen gets his 4th of the season, and that made it 5 in a row since June 1st for Martin Rennie's team. Talk about pedigree. Louisville City FC has been around for 4 seasons, and in each of the last 2, they have hosted the USL Cup Championship. In 2017 against Swope Park Rangers, last year against Phoenix Rising. These 2 geographic rivals collide next on Wish TV and ESPN+.
And chose to play here.
In Indiana. Back home again in Indiana.
In front of the most
passionate, loyal,
loudest
supporters in the USL.
We came here to work,
to play, to win.
attempting to have their best month in franchise history. This is their 6th match played. They have won the previous 5. Standing in front of them, the 2-time defending USL Cup champions. It's Indy 11 and Louisville City FC. Thanks for joining us on Wish TV and ESPN+. Last time out for the Indy 11, it was an early goal from Tyler Pasher, his 6th of the season, his first in the first half this season. That was the opening moments. In the closing moments, Thomas Enevoldsen, he'd been fighting for one the entire second half, gets his 4th of the year. Indy 11, their most home goals this season. They win by a score of 3-0. Again, their opponents, they know what victory tastes like in the month of November. 2 years ago against Swope Park Rangers. Then last year against Phoenix Rising. Lou City FC is in their 5th year of existence. They're already 2-time champions. Indy and Louisville, it comes your way next as you're watching USL Championship Soccer right here on Wish TV and ESPN+. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Community Health. Dream big, work hard, finish strong. Community Health Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. And by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Always great to get a view of the Indianapolis skyline. Lucas Oil Stadium playing host to the Indy 11 for a 3rd time in some 8 days. What is new for the Indy 11 is their place atop the table in the Eastern Conference by virtue of a 3-goal victory on Wednesday night. Not only are they tied for first place, the Indy 11 currently on the tiebreaker for what it's worth with 19 games left to go in the USL Championship season. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. Thank you for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on Wish TV and ESPN+. And simply put, Brad, since making the move to the USL, the Indy 11 have never been better.
It's been great. It's been very fun to watch. And you look at the standings, that's one thing. The goal differential separates things a little bit. And you look at how many of the 1-goal victories they've had, they just don't give up goals. That's been the difference.
No, 9 clean sheets so far for the Indy 11 in 15 league matches. It was a clean sheet a year ago when the Indy 11 got their only league victory against Louisville City FC. It was the first of 4 times that these two rivals faced each other, and it felt like a rivalry from the get.
It did. It's good to see that the Indiana-Kentucky rivalry transfers to soccer.
Physicality was on display, so was the precision of Ioze. The game's only goal came on a penalty kick late in the contest, and it was not decided until the closing minutes. Indy getting the victory here at Lucas Oil Stadium on the first Saturday in May. But of course, when they played in the playoffs, that victory went to Lou City by a score of 4-1. Our starting lineups presented by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Alioune Jahate gets a start for a second night in a row, but Neville Hackshaw back in the lineup after playing for Trinidad and Tobago for the last 3 weeks.
Well, for Jahate, when you score the game winner and then you come on and you start the next game and the team wins 3-0, that gives you the right to start again.
For Louisville City FC, no Cameron Lancaster. He's in Nashville. No Ilya Illich. He's right here with the Indy 11. But still, 9 of those players on your screen featured for Lou City, if not last year, than in previous seasons.
Yeah, and the impressive thing about Lou City is it's cookie cutter. They have a certain player they're looking for. If you fit that demographic, they can plug those pieces in without missing a beat.
As always, we thank you for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on Wish TV and ESPN+. Indy off for 2 weeks after this match. They are trying to go into the break with their first ever 6-match winning streak. The streak of success is something that has been talked about by Indy 11 fans a great deal the last couple of weeks. We'll do some number comparisons as we go, but first, Magnus Rasmussen trying to slide that ball through to Niall McCabe. Couldn't complete the pass. And now Alioune Jahate uses that speed. And one thing we'll see from both these teams tonight, Brad, both are going to play 3 at the back.
Yeah, and you look at the unpredictability that Alioune plays with. You know, defenders think that they can let a ball coast out of bounds or run back to their goalkeeper, but he chases everything, and he does it from unconventional angles. So it's something you've got to constantly be aware of.
Speaking of goalkeepers, Jordan Farr again gets the starting nod. This is for a 4th consecutive game. That ball nervously somewhat rolling towards the goal line. He quickly sweeps it away. In for the injured Evan Newton, although Evan is in uniform tonight and is the backup if necessary. And the offside flag goes up against Lucas Farias for the first time tonight. Jordan, a second-year pro, the netminder for the Indy 11 from tiny Corbin University in Salem, Oregon. Rasmussen plays the ball forward. Farr was off his line. Mitch Osmond got to it first.
That's a great read, and that's knowing the speed of Ownby, because he has got pace, and you know, we've seen it here every time we've played Lou City. He gets in behind very, very quickly, and so that's when you just can't hope that Jordan Farr gets to.
Hackshaw does a great job of shielding Rasmussen away from the ball, and all the activity directed at Jordan Farr's 18-yard box so far. Throw in coming here for the Indy 11. You see Paolo Del Piccolo was the Louisville player featured on your screen. He was one of 3 players for Lou City who were player coaches for about a 6-week period last year. Pasher finds some space. Jahate is onside. Ina Volton head towards the back post. No way to slide it through, and Pasher all the way on the opposite side of the pitch for Indy. And again, not as gifted with that right foot as he is his left. McCabe will buy some real estate before Hackshaw settles for the Indy 11.
You look, Lou City is pressing every ball right now.
Hackshaw makes a run forward. And frankly, Louisville should have the fresher legs. Indy played on Wednesday night. Louisville did not. They last played on Saturday, a 1-1 draw against the Charlotte Independents. And many of these Indy 11 players are playing for a 3rd time in 8 days. Again, the good news for Indy, no travel involved. Everything has been here at Lucas Oil Stadium, and that certainly helps. Time Time now for our keys. This match brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11.
Well, for Indy, you're looking at a couple things. Rasmussen's their leading scorer, and he's also a playmaker. And you've already seen early on the pace he plays with. You got to make sure that they contain him, and they need to open up the field. The 11 in 1v1 and 2v2 situations is indefensible, so you got to spread out Lou City and make sure that they can't get their rotations quickly. For Lou City, you cannot leave Tyler Pasher and a defender on an island. You've got to have cover tucked in behind him and got to make sure that that defender has support. And Lou City has to do well converting in transition. That's been the only wrinkle that the Indy 11 have shown this season, is that when they turn the ball over in midfield, you can kind of catch them and catch a look, but the back line and the goalkeepers have been solid and prevented it. But if Lou City can get those opportunities and convert, it's going to be a tough day for the 11.
Good back pressure by Iose. And now Pasher looking to spring free. Finds Jahate. Enevoldsen to his right. Jahate tries to find him. There's a touch there. Going down is Enevoldsen. It will be a corner. No further penalty heading towards Indy 11.
That's a veteran ball from a young player.
Yep.
The early one was on to hit Enevoldsen in front of the defender. He waited. He got the defender to bite. Enevoldsen comes in a little bit further, and he tucks it in behind and gives a great scoring opportunity to the 11.
Chris Hubbard, the new netminder this year for Louisville City. We referenced the fact their scorers have moved on from last year in Lancaster and Illich, but also Greg Ranjetsing, their longtime goalkeeper, now with former head coach James O'Connor in Orlando City in Major League Soccer. Hubbard, a Louisville native, makes the solid play. Flick back post.
Oh, my goodness.
And Jahate rattles it off the woodwork. This team has been far better in terms of Indy in open play than they were a year ago, where they have not been as dangerous as on corners and set pieces. They certainly were there.
Yeah, but I tell you what, this is a whole lot better brand of soccer than last year. We were just playing for restarts and opportunities there, and getting very little scoring through the run of play, and it's been pretty much the opposite this season.
The flick, Pasher's onside. Pasher, Hubbard parries it to the side, and a second corner coming for the Indy 11 in the last couple of moments.
We're 6 minutes in. That's two incredibly clever balls by Jahate and a ball off the post.
And you set up Pasher on that lethal left foot. Hubbard, one of 4 different goalkeepers that have played for Louisville City this year. Quite the opposite from years gone by when Ranjetsing owned that real estate between the posts. Ben Lute played more than anybody else, but he is out due to an ankle injury for Louisville. Some of the fans that made the trip up on I-65 trying to make some noise, and Jahate, with a push in the back, will draw the whistle from our match referee. Time now for our injury report, brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine, the official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Again, those injuries you see as far as questionable, 2 of them are in the lineup this evening. We won't see Newton unless something happens to Farr. I'm not sure if we might see Ilya Illich tonight. Eugene Starikov did not dress this evening, so we won't see him play. Again, he and Illich have both been out since the end of March.
And if you can manage this game without having to get questionable guys, in dangerous spots or get anybody injured, you've got those 2 weeks.
Yep.
You should be able to roll into July healthy and ready to close out the middle part of the season.
That was the deciding factor in terms of who's playing tonight and who's not. If there's anybody that is just the smallest bit injured, don't dress them tonight, sit for 2 weeks.
Yeah, the only thing I think might be a wild card later in that game is Ilya Illich, because of his connection with this club. There's always a little bit of extra energy when you're playing against your former team.
Pasher!
Unbelievable.
Pasher finds the back of the net. His 7th goal of the season. It was in minute 7 on Wednesday, minute 9 this evening. Indy 11 strikes early yet again.
7 goals. He's got 4 game winners in the last month, and I don't know if video systems are broken in the league, but how does he continue to get opportunities?
Splits the defenders. Pay close by. Swahi close by, no one close enough.
It's virtually the same scenario as the early goal with Birmingham. A give and go at the top of the box. The defender lets Pasher go. You can't lose track of the hottest player in the league.
He was on the bench for the team of the week last week. In other words, top 11 players, and there's kind of a group that's next 12 through 18. I get the feeling that the coach of this team at USL headquarters might put him in the starting lineup next week. Just a guess.
How do you not?
7 goals for Tyler Pasher. 6 of them have come from May 18th onward. And Indy out to an early lead against their rivals to the south down I-65. Let's face it, as successful as the Indy 11 have been over the course of these last 2 months, they have oftentimes done it with a late decisive goal or coming from behind. It's a bit of a different feel, getting an early lead.
And you look at the goals that he scored, and they're not in the the normal kind of context of a game. They've been in the last 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes.
And that's a jersey tuck against Taylor Pay. There is Martin Rennie in his second year as the head coach of the Indy 11. Not only the 33 points that the Indy 11 have, that is tied with Tampa Bay for the best in the entire league, let alone the Eastern Conference. Indy is the only team coming in tonight that has already won 10 matches this year. Wimet. Tyler Gibson. He knows what this rivalry is about from a different standpoint. Pasher was offside that time and immediately puts the thumb up to say thank you for the opportunity. Head coach John Hackworth for Louisville City. And we reference the fact there were 3 player coaches for a brief stint of time for Louisville last year. This game has had such a frenetic pace. We haven't gotten much into storytelling yet tonight. Jimenez, who had 13 assists last year, plays it across for Ownby, up and over the bar. Goal kick coming for Indy.
It's a great serve. That was in the only spot that Lou City could have had an opportunity from.
This portion of tonight's match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. Potentially a turnover here, but Jahate couldn't get back to his feet in time to make really an effort at it. So again, John Hackworth had been coaching the U.S. under-17 team, had spent time as the head coach of the Philadelphia Union when he took the Louisville job in early August last year. In fact, he was named the head coach, I believe, on a Thursday. Indy and Louisville played then on that Sunday. He didn't coach the team that week, but he was the head coach the last 2 times these teams played each other in October. James O'Connor had been the head coach for Louisville, got the Orlando City job at mid-year last year, and Louisville City had such respect for the guys in their locker room. They had 3 players as tri-coaches for 6 weeks, and Brian, they didn't miss a beat.
No, and that speaks to not just their organization, but kind of how they scout and look for players. They've got a template. They know what they want, and they go in, they find those guys. And if you have the guys that fit what you're looking for, you can plug guys in and out without missing too many, pieces that move on and move up. And
Iose took 2 tumbles, not just 1, but 2. So Del Piccolo with the late one. It draws the ire of Iose, but it was the previous contact that drew the whistle from our match referee. Given the tenor and energy of this game so far, you would think this is the playoff matchup.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what happens with rivalry games, is that, and the fact that Lou City ended the 11 season last year, the guys that were here remember it. There's certainly a lot of guys on this field that were a part of both of these organizations last year that feel it and remember it.
Farhad Dodko is our referee tonight, by the way. And while there are more familiar names and faces from Louisville last year to this year that say Indy to this year from last year, Guys like Tyler Gibson and Kenny Walker, they felt that Louisville was a rival of theirs too, playing for FC Cincinnati. I'm not sure if the phrase hate triangle has ever been used before, but that's the way those three towns,
I like
and Louisville, Cincy, and Indy, tend to feel about each other when they're all competing for the same thing.
And that was so great, too, that Lou City and FC Cincinnati got to match up in the Open Cup.
And we'll talk more about that coming up at halftime of tonight's broadcast. These two teams played 4 times last year, played 3 times in the regular season. And then they met in the 2-7 matchup in the Eastern Conference playoffs last year. That game won handily by Louisville. If you want to call that night blustery, that would be a tremendous understatement. 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts at Slugger Field for that game last October 20th.
And that was one of those crazy wins that it's against you in the first half, it's sideways in the second half, and you just can't get any kind of read on it.
Pasher looking to launch things forward for the Indy 11. There's that speed down the left flank for Pasher. Ina Voltson wants it back post. Pasher went down to the 18, will not get the penalty call. Official immediately said, nope, not enough there for a whistle. Davis, the fourth, the player, able to dislodge Pasher from the ball. Fans Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Louisville won that playoff matchup 4-1. They would go on to outscore their playoff opponents 12-2 in their run to a championship last year as that ball is across the touchline for a Lou City throw-in.
And the 4-1's a bit deceptive. When you're in that, win or go home mode, when you're down a goal, you got to push guys forward, and so you open up a little bit more on the back line in those, do or die moments.
Pasher strips him, plays it forward for Jahate. Jahate races free, leaves it for Ina Voltson, and can't connect. Could have been 2 in the first 16 minutes.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you take a look at scouting this team, the 11 could come at you from anywhere at any time. Here's a guy who bought his own way, his own plane ticket and hotel to the tryout, and he's in there and he's set. We're 16 minutes in. He's had 3 great playmaking opportunities.
In the story on Alioune Jahate, you see Ina Voltson on your screen. Jahate made this team out of an open tryout. Not invited to try out, an open tryout.
That's incredible.
And to be honest, folks, those are largely media events. That's a good way to get your brand out there during the offseason. Good way for folks to feel they have a connection to the club. How about a guy that's produced a game winner for you out of an open tryout?
Yeah, and we talked about that to Martin after the game winner and said, okay, you knew him. I mean, you knew he was coming to the tryout. He said, no, I had no idea who he was. Part of the way through the tryout, I went over and asked, who is this guy?
Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive Indiana Members Credit Union Indy 11 debit card at any Indiana Members Credit Union branch or online at imcu.com today. These two played to a 2-2 draw in their first match of 3 in Louisville last year. From a pace and style of play, that's the only match from last year that kind of resembles this one. Ina Voltson flicks it forward. Jahate again. Pasher to his left. Jahate tries to find some space. Left foot. We've seen him be reluctant to go to that left the last couple of matches. Given the ball he just hit, I wouldn't be.
Yeah, and I tell you, I think, the early ball the Pasher was on, that wasn't, hit, and he did a great job of creating an opportunity for himself. And the one thing you ask as a goalkeeper and as a coach of your defenders, keep him there, keep him on the outside, make it a readable game. And, here's a rookie that cuts the defender across his top foot.
Davis trying to find McCabe, and Farr will let that go across the byline for a goal kick Are you surprised to see Louisville leaving this much room available at the back?
Yeah. You know, you can certainly manage it with 3 backs, but you've got a couple pacey guys, so you need a couple of, you know, holding middle guys in the center to maybe take up a little bit of space, jam it up, and help out. But right now you got Jahate, who's, you know, almost had his way here in the middle of the field. Indy Volson's had a good opportunity. Pasher's had a couple of good opportunities.
Are we also seeing a difference in style in terms of the way that kind of James O'Connor had built this team last year versus the way that John Hackworth wants to play going forward?
Well, I think while you've got pieces that fit your culture, everybody brings a different toolbox to the, you know, to the game, and so you do have to adjust how you're going to play a little bit. When you got a Lancaster that's out and an Ilya Illich that's out, that's what, 30-some goals last year that's missing. So you do have to play a little bit different when you've got that out of your lineup.
And that is a foul in a dangerous area on Tyler Gibson. Masoso, the player that went to the turf for Lou City. And so a free kick coming from just outside of the 18. And I can see where, from the opposite side, where that looked like a foul from the first angle we viewed it. But I also see Tyler's point looking at it from the end zone camera. Jimenez and McCabe, the players that will stand over this free kick for Louisville. You see Paolo Del Piccolo, one of those 3 tri-coaches from last year, wearing the captain's armband. He has missed some time due to injury this year, appearing in just his 7th match of the season. McCabe from Dublin. It's Jimenez that sends it in. And there was a look. It missed wide. First and best opportunity of the night for Lou City.
Perfectly placed ball. That's a ball that's out of the keeper's range. He's got it. I mean, it's close enough that he's got to stay on his line and defend the line, but it's tucked right in behind the back line where, you know, if you've got an attacker who just outworks his defender to the ball, he's going to get a piece of it.
Mitch Osman got fouled, draws the whistle. This portion of this match is presented by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Indiana, a state that works. And Osman getting the nod tonight. We saw Patty Barrett go down briefly in the win against Birmingham on Wednesday. And they just wanted to make sure that that ankle that he rolled was going to be okay a couple of weeks from now. So with that, Osman got the nod over Barrett tonight with the return of Neville Hackshaw. Enevoldsen slides it forward for Pasher. Pasher back for Enevoldsen. The step to it by Del Piccolo, and Del Piccolo screaming at his teammates to pick up that runner.
And I tell you, you know, missing Patty Barrett and Hackshaw coming back, things just sometimes work out where if he could have gone tonight, you're able to give him that rest and get him back 100% by the time you guys have to hit the field again.
Remember, Alex Tronali is still with Columbus. He had been on a season-long loan with the Indy 11, but injuries in Columbus have kind of necessitated his return to the Major League Soccer side, and he has played well upon his return to Columbus. This Indy 11 team, the schedule you could say is somewhat light over the next few weeks. Ioze, flag stays down, able to cut that ball behind Davis. Indy will not have another midweek match until September at this juncture. They are off next weekend. They're also off the second weekend in August. And Enevoldsen got clobbered. Referee says play on, simultaneous contact. Pay able to win that ball away. Flag goes up on Ownby as he tracks it down. Fans, follow the Indy 11 and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+. Home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who've already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Neville Hackshaw, the hair to match the game. Before he left for international duty, he really had probably been the player of the season for the Indy 11. Tyler Pasher may have wrested that moniker away, at least momentarily.
May.
But Hackshaw was tremendous. You say it with more certainty is what you're telling me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's... And that's nothing, no slight against Hackshaw, but Pasher's just been in a different world.
After 1 goal a season ago, Pasher now has 7. And Jahate's onside, trying to angle his body in front to go track that ball down. But well done by Paco Craig.
That was well played.
Craig, one of the many guys that seemingly has been in Louisville forever. And now Ownby gets in front of Ouimet. Far retreats. It's going to be all Ownby. Ouimet couldn't take the chance. Knocks the ball across the byline. Corner kick coming.
Yeah, and these two teams built tonight very similarly. In 3-4-3, looking at some pace up top and trying to find the gaps in the seams. The 11 have been more effective in finding the space over the top, the ball through, and the ball to feet just in front of the back three. But Lou City has shown that they can be dangerous with both Ownby and Rasmussen on those balls through.
Jimenez, 3rd in the league in assists last year. Will send this in. Looking back post. Got through. Jahate gets in the way before Ownby can rocket one. And now Hackshaw and Pasher not on the same page. But still, at least some time to organize for Indy. McCabe looking back post, and Farr will call everyone off and make the easy play. Cliff Bar Baking Company, Indianapolis, is proud to team up with the Indy 11 to provide meals to IPS students through our Meals for Miles program. And Farr has played some balls at his feet like he was a central mid tonight, hasn't he?
He can drive a ball.
Not just that, but with pressure on him, doesn't seem rattled by.
And it's not floating it into space and hoping. I mean, he's looking to send Pasher and Jahate in.
I had the chance to talk to Jordan this week for Soccer Saturday on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan, and I have learned, Brad, we are very popular with the Farr family. They're big fans of ours.
Good to hear.
They're watching out in Oregon via ESPN Plus tonight. Minute number 26. And Jahate draws the foul.
He just makes it so difficult. It's his work rate, his energy, his unpredictability. Makes it a tough read.
Dane Kelly is available as a substitution. Of course, the all-time leading goal scorer in the history of the USL Championship in Dane Kelly. Enevoldsen, good ball for Farias. Farias an assist on Wednesday on that first Pasher goal. Connects with them yet again. Flag goes up. Farias apparently was in an offside location as that ball was played back to him. The native of Sao Paulo, Brazil, first time playing outside of his home country when he was signed by the Indy 11 during the offseason. Farias getting just his 5th start of the year. Again, that's been part of this theme of this June. Not just the overall excellence for the Indy 11. It's been guys that are kind of depth players that's been getting it done this month.
Yeah, and you look at how this game is matching up a little bit differently than how the 11 played on Wednesday, in that you're seeing Pasher and Enevoldsen. Now, Enevoldsen tucks into the middle a little bit more, but you've seen Pasher come across the top of the box a couple times. That's opening up the flanks for both Farias and Ayoze.
Being the left foot dominant player that he is in Pasher, I've never seen him play this much on the right side as we've seen tonight. Rasmussen here, leading goal scorer for Louisville this year.
Good ball.
Finds McCabe, couldn't get it through. Osmond, right man, right place, right time for Indy.
There was only the size of the soccer ball of a window for Rasmussen to put that ball, and he hit it.
You see Farr had to come in. The 20-minute mark of the U.S. Open Cup victory for the Indy 11 as Jahate draws the foul. Farr twice has to come in as an in-match replacement this year. One in Open Cup play, the other in the victory at Memphis 901 3 weeks ago. But every time his name has been called, he has been outstanding.
When you look at a rookie keeper getting their first professional minutes, you're always wondering, okay, you're athletic, you've shown it in practice, now you got to do it on the big stage. It takes a while to kind of get your feet underneath you. He's there. He's there. These games, I mean, he comes out, he's playing like a veteran. He's calm, he's composed. You can tell by the way the back line plays in front of him, they're comfortable.
Paco Craig shown a yellow, and as you could tell from the various points, accumulation, a foul here, a foul here, a foul there. And so first yellow match goes to Paco Craig. The off-timed arm that got into the midsection of Alioune Jahate, the reason for the last infraction. And it's somewhat surprising that Paco would be off timing on something, since his father was the basis for Culture Club. You would think his timing would be a bit more natural.
Rakestraw, that's brilliant.
I'm gonna let that breathe for a little bit.
I'm just sitting here soaking in your awesomeness.
I thought about wanting to drop a line like, do you really want to hurt me? I thought that would be too much. Just go with the timing.
This one was absolutely perfect.
Well, once we get the pop culture reference out of the way, Paco is an outstanding player. One of the many key pieces that are kind of bedrock foundational pieces for this Lou City club.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Again, 9 players in the starting 11 back from last year, and most of these players 2, 3, 4-year pieces in Louisville. Only their goalkeeper and Chris Hubbard and Taylor Pay, as well as Napo Masoso. So 8 pieces back in the starting 11 that saw significant minutes a season ago.
Yeah, and that speaks so well to both the player and the organization, is that they want to be together. Now these seasons are long. You're training, you're going at each other. There's so many ways that the locker room can become fractured, and egos can get involved, and emotions can get involved, and guys don't want to play with this guy. And so when you get an organization that can keep guys together, that speaks volumes to how well it's run.
So Jahate will be waved back on at some point. So set piece coming, but playing a man down. It's Ioze that will send it in. Looking back post for Hackshaw, and just couldn't time it out.
What a ball. Just floated up there. Just go get it.
Would not have mattered because the offside flag was up. Jahate is waved back in. We'll take another look. So even if he had gotten to it, it was deemed he was offside. By the way, this portion of this match brought to us by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Ownby the target. Osmond with him step for step. Now here's George Davis the fourth. It was Davis, Del Piccolo, and a gentleman I'm sure we'll see off the bench tonight for Louisville, and Luke Spencer. Those were those 3 player coaches during the midway stretch of the year. Osmond, another fantastic read for Indy. And doesn't just play the ball to the side, gives his guy in Jahate a chance to go get it, which then forces a throw in for Indy.
And here's one of those silent moments of the game. You have Ioze on this last time that Lou City was breaking out. You have Ioze stepping up to press the ball. And when he does that, Pasher immediately, when he sees Ioze making that defensive pressing run, Pasher immediately starts making his run back in recovery. That is a team that is completely in sync. Those are little invisible, silent moments that happen out here that if guys aren't locked in and really understanding each other's games, those things don't happen.
Case just joining us, Tyler Pasher, his 7th goal of the season, coming in minute number 8. And the 11's had a couple of good chances since then. Louisville's had one off of a set piece that couldn't find the back post. First 10-15 minutes seemingly belonged to Indy. It's been a bit more level since then. But a 1-goal advantage for Indy, looking for their 6th consecutive victory. Their 11th win in total of the season, and trying to stretch the distance between themselves and the 2-time defending USL Cup champions. Indy and Tampa Bay currently tied for first in the Eastern Conference at 33 points. Louisville 8 points back. And they have played one more match that has Indy to this juncture. This is the halfway point of the season for Louisville after tonight. Indy won't hit that until 2 weeks from now against Hartford Athletic. And a foul called from a few paces earlier. Not sure if that was a foul or maybe an inadvertent handball. Either way, stoppage opportunity here for the Indy 11. Pasher.
What a turn.
And brings Pay all the way out from the back line, trying to chase him. It's too much traffic that time for Pasher to get through. Owen be able to keep that ball in play. It is a throw in now for Louisville. Fans, you can tune to ESPN3 on Wednesday, 11 o'clock Eastern time for the next edition of Wednesday Night Soccer. Watch two of the best clubs out west duel for playoff positioning when Sacramento Republic FC welcomes Fresno FC in the Highway 99 Derby. Catch all the action this Wednesday at 11 o'clock on ESPN3. You're not working the next day. Stay up late and watch a little Wednesday Night Soccer. Memory serves, the return match between these two teams will be the featured match that week also on ESPN3 when Indy plays at Louisville as the offside flag goes up yet again on Friday night, August 30th at Slugger Field.
If memory serves, Rake, you've never forgotten a thing.
As I tell you, say it convincingly, people will believe you.
Yeah, but you're also right, because that's one thing I do remember is that's when they play again.
You and I will have the chance to broadcast that locally here in the Indianapolis area. I'll take you down to the Slugger Museum down the street, showing Muhammad Ali's place.
Love that. I like the way, you know, when you drive through downtown Louisville and they've got kind of these big wall murals of all the iconic personalities that have come out of Louisville. That's a really cool thing.
When you go west on I-64 to where I'm from in Lanesville, it's the same thing. Well, I painted a likeness of myself on a great sign.
On the Quickie Mart?
Yeah, I tried. We just got a Dollar General, by the way, this year. Jahate gets to it, lifts it up and over, but just sends it wide.
He is ridiculously dangerous. Everything's working for him.
A fraction away from being a 2-goal advantage for Indy. And that's a foul against Carl Ouimet. As you are watching the replay, there was a foul close to midfield as Ouimet and McCabe collided.
So you saw the veteran ball from Alioune to Ina Voltsen early on. Just had another veteran move right there as this foul was called and being set up. He jogs over, stands in front of the ball to allow the rest of his players to get back and get organized.
Alexi Swahi, the ball at his feet for Louisville. And now Paco Craig. It was Craig that had a handball inside of the 18 that created the penalty opportunity when Indy beat Louisville last May. A penalty converted by Ioze, one of his 4 goals a season ago for Indy. Rasmussen. Walker ties him up. Rasmussen, leading goal scorer this year for Louisville, with 6. And Farias. That ball was intended for Jimenez. And right now the play for the Indy 11. Forget the buildup. Throw it long and let Jahate go track it down.
I'll tell you, that was a great play by Kenny Walker just to hold up Rasmussen enough that Tyler Gibson could tuck underneath and be there for when Rasmussen spun.
Fans, we hope you listen to Soccer Saturday every week on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. Jordan Farr, a guest this week on the show, as was Indy 11 head coach Martin Running. And we talked Women's World Cup with Kat Whitehill. She of 134 caps for the U.S. women's national team and has been covering the Women's World Cup for Fox. That's all available if you go online now at 1070thefan.com. By the way, the Indy 11 are teaming up with the Indiana Fever for a watch party on Tuesday afternoon at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Foul against Jahate. 3 o'clock is the game against England in the semifinals. No charge. Doors open at 2:30. So looking for a big screen, Bankers Life has that.
What a great idea.
Looking for air conditioning, they got plenty of that too. So Tuesday, 3 o'clock, Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Jimenez.
Oh, good ball.
Again, 3rd in the league last year in assists. Manu Ledesma now playing in Major League Soccer for FC Cincinnati, was first a year ago at 15. Jimenez, including regular season and playoff matches, featured 35 times last year for Louisville City. Much like a large number of this Louisville roster, as far plays the turf perfectly and elevates to get that one over Ownby.
And you can see as the 11 were pushing that back line high, you know, he knows the pace of Ownby, and so he is inching off his line to the 6 to the 12 just to be in position to pick off that ball that's hit over the top.
Final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of half number 1, brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. That's going to be a foul against Ina Voltson for making contact while McCabe was up in the air. Thomas rather nonplussed about the decision. We haven't seen any punches of the turf yet from Thomas tonight.
No.
And Jimenez is almost going to treat this ball as a free kick in terms of maybe an opportunity on goal. Now they'll try to restart and catch Indy napping if they can. Headed, and Farr was up to the challenge. It was Paco Craig that got his head to it. There's Jahate again, trying to split the center backs. Jahate got his first league start for the Indy 11 on Wednesday night. This is his 11th appearance of the season for the native of Senegal. Craig did just enough to get in the passing lane that time. And then Gibson commits the foul. Well, clearly Louisville has stabilized things just a bit from the opening 10-15-minute flurry that we saw from Indy. You see John Hackworth on screen. What's right now his message to his guys at halftime?
Well, they came out with a lot of pace and a lot of pressure, and they were looking to try and grab the energy of this game early. It backfired a little bit when Pasher put that ball away. So now that the game is settled into this flavor, you know, it's still trying to look for balls that Ownby and Rasmussen can get on the other end of.
Rasmussen, a longtime member of this Louisville City roster, did spend 1 year back in his native Denmark playing in the 3rd division. Had 8 goals a few seasons ago for Lou City. Because of guys like Lancaster, bit of a giveaway there by Iose, and then an awfully creative way to find 25 yards of real estate. Finished on Rasmussen, really kind of lost in the shuffle last year, with Lancaster scoring 26 and Ilya Illich in double digits. But this year, much more of an opportunity, and he's cashed in. Denmark well represented in tonight's game. Rasmussen for Louisville City. Ina Voltson for the Indy 11. Brad Hodder, Danish by marriage. All the bases are covered.
Got it all. Got to believe there's a couple of other Danes in the building right now. Ina Voltson has quite a Danish contingent of fans. In fact, my wife belongs to a couple of Danish Facebook groups. and they come to the games, they support him, but the Danes are proud people, very proud people.
Of course, Thomas got to play in a World Cup match for Denmark back in 2010. By the way, this portion of the match is also brought to us by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Take your business to the next level in a state that works. We did see a late goal in the first half for Indy on Wednesday. Jahate trying to do his best to make that happen again. Enevoldsen the pressure. Second wave of pressure by Jose. Pays off. Enevoldsen onside. Walker from distance. We've seen this before in multiple locales, not that time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, there is a little shirt tugging going on with Jahate and Pay. Pay is holding his shirt on every ball that's served in just to keep him close and negate his speed a little bit. Hopefully it's something that's on the radar of the center official.
Jimenez. Final 30 seconds before we see the added time. Good switch of the attack here for Davis. Looking top of the 18, plays it behind Rasmussen. Jahate couldn't keep it at his feet, but finds a teammate.
And I'll tell you, that ball from Del Piccolo to Davis cost them. He put it to him instead of in front of him.
Pasher, like a rocket, could not find a teammate. Does find the corner flag. And our fourth official lets us know 2 minutes of added time before festivities are over at half number 1.
You got Pasher bearing down on you on your right side as a goalkeeper, and you're looking at this, and you've looked at film, and you've seen him beat 2 other goalkeepers near post. So you got to be frozen on that front side. But you've also seen him slot that ball over for game winners. So you know you got to have a mind in 2 worlds.
It is Walker that will take this corner. Ball was checked by law enforcement. It appears to be okay.
That's brilliant.
Walker, the team leader in assists for the Indy 11 with 4. Punched. Farias will settle. Pasher found an opening, just couldn't find a teammate. And Farias, advantage being played. Would have been a foul, but possession maintained for Lou City. Halfway through added time. And Farr is there. Able to make a relatively easy play. And Farias just kind of gets a bit of a knowing nod from the referee. I'm not sure if there's a card coming, but there'll be a talking to at the end of the half. And Jahate being told to hop up, not enough there from a contact situation. Hackshaw. And that should be enough to end half number 1. There will be a card that's going to be shown to Lucas Farias. So I don't think we're done yet. Hang on a second. I think that was the first stoppage in play, really, to show that card. So Farias gets a yellow. So Craig a yellow for Louisville earlier. Farias now has one for Indy. That is his first yellow of the season. And now I would imagine one touch, and this half should be over with. Not yet. So the card has produced a little extra time on the extra time. But finally, all out of time. Indy 11, an early goal, and it's a 1-goal lead heading to halftime.
It's a well-played half. It's really a well-played half by both teams. I don't think Louisville's been quite as explosive in the attacking third, but a well-played game.
A bit of a sluggish start. They've certainly brought it these last 30 minutes. You would expect nothing less in this rivalry affair. Indy looking for their 11th win of the season. One goal to get at halftime here on Wish TV and ESPN+.
Feel free to dance along, fans, to a new version of this.
Indy 11 looking for a 6th consecutive win, looking for 3 points in every match they play in June. A goal on the right side of the ledger, 1-0. They lead Louisville here at halftime. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hunter with you on Wish TV and ESPN+. This obviously draws a lot of attention around the league, but there's more to talk about in the USL Championship. Our look at news and notes, and haven't even referenced this in the broadcast, but Louisville City sent one of their leading goal scorers away yesterday. Lucky Quesada, a player we know well from various stops along the way, traded for Antoine Hopino, the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
And I do think the 11 factor into that trade. I think the way that Indy's playing right now makes everybody in the top of this table say, we need to do something to make this happen. And those are two players that each of the organizations are familiar with.
10 teams make the playoffs this year. The Bethlehem Steel have struggled at times, but they beat Harper Athletic 3-0 a night ago, and they are back into the playoff mix. And as referenced earlier, this is the halfway point for Louisville City. One more match for the Indy 11, but it's fair to start talking playoff permutations and possibilities as we now hit the midway portion of the schedule. That's just some of the activity around the USL Championship. Here's a look at so much more.
Has been waiting for a professional soccer club it can call its own. Now led by leading soccer executive and co-founder of Sacramento Republic FC, Warren Smith, and legendary United States men's national team player Landon Donovan, its club has arrived. The USL Championship is coming to the University of San Diego's Torero Stadium, bringing all the excitement of the fastest growing league in North America to one of the top soccer markets in the United States.
All right, gentlemen. I don't think we need to kind of review what this game means, but it is a really important opportunity for us. I think it's an important opportunity for you guys in a lot of ways.
Goal is to advance in the U.S. Open Cup by beating Cincinnati. It is that simple. Any questions? Let's go, gentlemen. Let's go.
It's more than just the two
clubs, there's a bit of an angst between the cities, quite frankly. You can feel it.
There's just so much on the line. We're in the third year now of seeing FC Cincinnati with, you know, a lot of big moments that have happened and history built up.
Last year we came here twice and we won both games. Dealing with the crowd, the pressure, I think is one advantage that we'll have as we've dealt with it.
Fourth round of the 2019 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, the site of the renewal of one of the great budding rivalries in U.S. soccer, FC Cincinnati. Now the big dog from Major League Soccer hosting Louisville City FC, a rainy Nippert Stadium, the perfect place, Lorena, to renew the River City rivalry.
Sam Warner, the beauty.
Jamal Johnson, he only knows bangers.
Look at Tatum moving up. And Tatum with a beautiful strike. Are you kidding?
Johnson from distance. Oh, yes.
A great save from C.J. Cochran.
Well, coming up this Wednesday on ESPN3, two of the top teams in the Western Conference. You're watching two of the top teams in the Eastern Conference right now. Indy 11 for the first time in their brief USL history atop the Eastern Conference table. Again, they and Tampa Bay each with 33 points, each with plus 15 in terms of goal differential, but one less match played, one more win for the Indy 11. Like we said Wednesday, we are the Indy 11 broadcast. We're going to put them atop that Eastern Conference table. Lou City at 7. That's why there is, again, a little more angst from them tonight. They know they're trying to keep pace with the club that's atop the Eastern Conference, but there are other matchups featuring top 10 teams in the USL's Eastern Conference this evening, and that brings us to our Crown Plaza out-of-town scoreboard. Crown Plaza, Indianapolis downtown. Let them assist you with your next meeting or event. Late start for North Carolina and Nashville due to a lightning delay. They are scoreless there. Pittsburgh, the 0 is not surprising. The 3 for Pittsburgh is, and the struggles continue for Birmingham Legion.
3-0 loss on Wednesday night, and then you look at this, and Pittsburgh right now is rolling. I think they got 5 a couple games ago. They got 3 in the last game, 3 here, 11 goals in their last 3 matches.
No goals yet between Charleston, the Red Bulls, and Tampa Bay and Ottawa. They kick off at the top of the hour. Whether you're a Team USA fan or an Indy 11 fan, you can easily be both. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday night with us. More of our halftime show comes your way next on Wish TV and ESPN+. It is a great night for indoor soccer. It got warm today. It should. It's the end of June here in the city of Indianapolis. Things were hot from the start in this match. The Indy 11 getting the match's only goal in minute number 8. That belonged to Tyler Pasher. Thanks for, again, joining us here. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder with you here on Wish TV and ESPN+. Overall, your thoughts about a frenetically played on both sides opening 45.
It was a well-played match. I think the difference is there have been a whole lot more dangerous, dynamic opportunities in the attacking third for the 11 than there has been for Lou City.
Well, we already referenced the fact that Tyler Pasher got the goal for the Indy 11. He has now had 6 since May the 18th. As we look back at our first half highlights, probably the guy we haven't focused on enough because of that assist was Thomas Enevoldsen, his second of the season. A year ago in Orange County, he had 10 of those.
He's just got great vision and then the ability to find the right ball. Unfortunate opportunity here for Lou City. You look at this is almost the exact same goal that Birmingham gave up in the first 7 minutes the other night. It's a give and go, and the defender follows the ball instead of the most dangerous player in the league.
But as you talked about, it wasn't the only opportunity the Indy 11 had. This could have been 2 or 3 easily.
Yeah, Alioune was just fantastic in that first 45 minutes, creating opportunities for Pasher, creating opportunities for Enevoldsen, and occasionally creating opportunities for himself.
Nabil Hackshaw looking for his 3rd goal of the season. Again, Lou City certainly had their looks as well. Paco Craig, the header. But Jordan Farr looking for his 3rd successive shutout here at Lucas Oil Stadium. What is interesting to note, this Indy 11 team that's been not just winning matches, but winning possession by like 60-40 or more. Possession in favor of Lou City tonight.
Yeah, but you take a look at Indy's possessions. They were more dangerous and they were quicker. They'd get that ball, they find the space, and then get a shot off of it within a couple touches.
15 fouls called between these two teams. That should not be a surprise.
No, that's not.
So the Indy 11, again, after tonight's match, they are off for 14 days. The next time the Indy 11 will be here inside Lucas Oil Stadium is 3 weeks from tonight when they play host to Loudoun United FC, the affiliate club of DC United. That is on July 20th. Before that, the Indy 11 will be in Hartford against another first-year club in Hartford Athletic. The team the Indy 11 beat here in their home opener back on March 30th by a score of 1-0. Just 3 matches in the month of July, only 4 in the month of August for the Indy 11. Lou City back on the pitch and getting ready to get warmed up for half number 2. Indy 11 will be joining them in a matter of moments, and getting ready to join us in a matter of moments is the head coach of the Indy 11 and Martin Running. Martin, another solid half by your club. Your thoughts about your team's performance in the opening 45 minutes?
Yeah, I think it's a good game. Both teams pressing hard, and there's a good tempo to what's going on in the match. But I think, right now just focus more on the second half. We got a nice goal there, and now we just got to make sure that we keep the tempo up and keep working hard in the second half.
Whether it's from your end or Louisville's end, what changes are you expecting in half number 2?
Well, I think they're being pretty proactive. They're leaving a lot of space at the back, so it's more about us looking to exploit that space. I don't see them coming back from that at this point in terms of they're going to keep pressing, so we just have to try and manage that and take their chances when they come.
Thanks for the time, Coach. We'll talk to you after the match.
Okay, thanks.
Indy 11 head coach Martin Running, always kind to join us at halftime. Your thoughts on what Coach had to say?
Yeah, I thought he was correct. I think you take a look at the balls that have been dangerous for the 11. It's finding the space for Pasher, finding the space for Jahate. The balls that have been delivered right to Jahate, where he's got to fight, pay for, those are not effective balls right now. It's that ball that's in space where he can turn, use his speed, use his chaos to create an opportunity.
Reference the fact numerous times Indy is off for 14 days. That is not the case for Louisville. They've got another big game coming up next Saturday. They are back at home for this one as they play host to Nashville SC. And if Indy can hang on to this advantage to be 11 points clear at the midway point of the season from the 2-time defending champs, that's an awfully big deal.
That's impressive. And you know, when you look at every point that you bank at this point in the season, even though there's still a lot of soccer left to play, anything you can put in there is going to help you. There's still a rough patch, maybe 2 that you're going to have to go through, whether it's an injury, a bad call, an unfortunate bounce. So anything you can bank at this point in the season is of value.
But if you think this game is over, you are sorely sorely mistaken. And already a change has been made. Luke Spencer, who is standing over the ball right now, one of the leading goal scorers for this Lou City club. He's got 5 on the year. So already a substitute here early in the half. So Spencer added into the mix. And a corner coming. George Davis IV is the player that exits out. And Spencer, certainly a target player. Played his collegiate soccer at Xavier, former top 25 MLS draft pick a few years ago. So already 1 sub used by Coach Hackworth for Lou City. And Spencer will be a target due to his size right here.
Yeah, I think he came in for the last 15 minutes of the match here last year and just created all kinds of problems.
And frankly missed a sitter in the process. Ball punched up and over the bar. Craig again the target there for Lou City. So Davis IV exits. Luke Spencer enters. Luke is a great story for Lou City. He went through knee injury after knee injury after he got his pro career started. He had really kind of gotten into coaching on a full-time basis. Was invited to go to a tryout, signed with his hometown club, FC Cincinnati. Played there for 2016, moved to Louisville in 2017. And once you're a fit at Lou City, you tend not to go away. You tend to stay there, as Spencer has done. As far as players available for substitution tonight for the Indy 11. Again, Evan Newton, the primary goalkeeper, is available if something were to happen to Jordan Farr. The outfield players available as subs: Emerson Nieto, Matt Watson, Ilya Illich, Kim Do-yoon, Dane Kelly, and Macaulay King.
Think of that. You've got the all-time career scorer in this league available on your bench. What a luxury.
Hackshaw back from international duty for Trinidad and Tobago. Plays that ball to midfield. Again, Hackshaw did play last Saturday 90 minutes in the loss for TNT against Team USA. He did not feature in their Wednesday match against Guyana. Was played to a 1-1 draw in what was the Gold Cup finale for each of those 2 teams. Now Farias trying to spring Jahate, and Jahate could not track it down. This sports this match presented by the Denny Companies. The Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. Iose.
Tough ball right there. You know, when Iose looked up, Jahate was making that run into space. Jahate broke off that run, but Iose had already tucked it into the pocket.
Well, of note, Spencer, of course, being more of a target player. He slots in up top for Louisville. Niall McCabe now will back up and play more of a midfield role, which is what he's used to for this Louisville club. It was a bit of a different wrinkle we're seeing from them tonight. Putting 3 at the top, and that pressure certainly noticeable immediately and really throughout this contest. Almost a pocket pick by Walker.
I think some of that has to do with the fact that Cosano was traded, but Hopeno's not available yet, so they're missing their normal target piece. And how do they get through tonight, you know, with the pieces they have?
Now Hopeno is listed as a substitute for tonight's match. Onside is Enevoldsen. Flag stays down. Lifts it forward for Jahate. Good positioning by Craig to get in the way. We saw Hopeno here on May 1st when the Rowdies played to a 0-0 draw with a 10-man Indy 11. Pasher. Now Farias slides it through. Couldn't find a teammate. And Spencer with fresh legs will give chase. Spencer 7 goals last year for Lou City. The player he replaced in George Davis had 8 last year. Flag down for Enevoldsen. Enevoldsen taken down. no call. Ruled that Craig got the ball first. It will be a corner for Indy.
Yeah, Suwahi as the trailing defender kept him on sides.
A lot of the volunteer officials in the BYB didn't agree with that call. Not surprisingly. And this is the spot of so many positive things for the Indy 11 last year. Ioze on the corner. We met a favorite target of his, dancing around the 6-yard box. Walker on the volley. Ball spins and stays in play. And Jordan Farr all the way to midfield to keep the attack alive for the Indy 11. Ioze looking for Jahate. Jahate. And that is going to be a corner. Swahi did not.
This is a ridiculous ball by Ioze.
Swahi did not want to take the chance. Fans, Indy 11 Premium Suites are the perfect way to entertain your guests. Learn more at Indy11.com or call 317-685-1100. I'm pretty sure that Ioze can see rocks on the moon. Doesn't need a telescope.
And he can reach it with the ball, too.
Ioze. It'll be Pasher that will settle. Now trying to launch the counter is Lou City. Well defended, but good job by Omi to get away from it. Now Rasmussen looking for Spencer. Hackshaw able to knock that ball away from Spencer. And we met fouled behind the play, and a card is going to be shown, and that goes to Magnus Rasmussen. So second yellow of the match shown to a Lou City player. Now, obviously, Del Piccolo looks like, I thought it was Rasmussen, but regardless, it is a card against Louisville City. And it is Del Piccolo, my apologies. Ouimet in his second year with the Indy 11. And clearly it's Del Piccolo, not Rasmussen.
And it's a moment just before that are going to be Lou City's best opportunities. It's a corner kick where you've got Osmond, Hackshaw, and Ouimet up. You've got Pasher back as the center back. They won the ball, stepped on it, slowed it down, and allowed the three backs to get back into shape.
Here's Rasmussen. Spencer to his left. Three sets of eyes trailing him. McCabe, the overlapping run. All played back to Swahi. And three at the back, but now five in this alignment for the Indy 11. As the wings and Farias and Ioze drop back by a little more traffic behind the ball. Rasmussen, good looking turn. And that is a foul on Pasher. And again, dangerous restart position here for Lou City.
I tell you, when Rasmussen first had that look up with McCabe out open on the right, thought he was going to punch it out there. I think Pasher did as well. And then he spins and looks for the shot, and that's the foul came as Pasher was trying to catch up.
Del Piccolo, Jimenez, Ownby, all having a bit of a conversation in the neighborhood of that ball. And Paco Craig, who's been a target on a couple of set pieces, wants to hear what the conversation is about as well. Del Piccolo buries it. 1-1, we're tied. Just the second home goal allowed by the Indy 11 this year.
Wow.
Not a thing that Farr can do about that one. Paulo Del Piccolo. One of the many veterans on this Lou City squad levels the match in minute number 55.
Yeah, I think, you're at that distance where, you probably think you can get away with 4 on the wall, but that was one that you probably needed 5 on. And that's a tweener. It's so far out, you're not thinking he's going to have a look on goal, so you put 4 in there, and it just slides by that last man in the wall.
Both goals that Farr has allowed on his watch in league play have been exquisite strikes from outside of the 18. Pasher down behind the play for the Indy 11. You see him there on your screen. Walker gives a foul just to stop play, to allow the training staff from the Indy 11 to come out and take a look at Tyler Pasher. Pasher did not go the full 90 on Wednesday. They subbed him out after about 60 minutes, trying to get him 90 minutes for tonight, knowing that, again, there's not great depth up top right now for the Indy 11. Without Ilya Illich, without Eugene Starikov, who haven't played since March.
And the way he was stretching, you'd think it was a cramp, and that may be the result of 3 games in 8 days.
Everybody hydrating a little bit. And you saw kind of the universal sign for, hey, make the sub. And Pasher realizes he's not taking another step. And with that, Matt Watson will be brought in immediately for the Indy 11. And Matt will play more of a midfield role. The good news is you don't play again for 2 weeks. But given the outstanding level of how Pasher has played this year, and knowing his fight back from injury a year ago, this is a sight you don't like to see. So the obvious substitution, Matt Watson in for Tyler Pasher. So Watson continues his role as the super sub. He has appeared now in every match but 1 this year for the Indy 11. He has only started on 3 occasions. So Watson in, Pasher out.
He gives you such versatility, though. In this situation, while you're trying to figure out, do we go to Kelly with this minutes? Do we give Ilya Illich these minutes? How do we see if we can't pull back those 2 points? Matt Watson gives you the flexibility to say, okay, we'll figure out that solution with the next ball. Get in there and get this game, under control.
By the way, Luke Spencer's on the sideline right now for Lou City, and he has a serious head wrap on. So there was contact between he and a player at some point. So Louisville temporarily playing a man down. He has not been yet waved back on. So both teams have already used 1 sub here early in the second half. And here comes Spencer with the not fashionable but effective hat attire. And immediately wins that ball away from Hackshaw. Spencer the lead.
Clever ball.
Del Piccolo couldn't get it back to him. And that ball eventually will cross the byline for a goal kick. Fans, for standing stats and all the latest league news, be sure to visit USLchampionship.com. And Walker wisely plays that ball with his head back to Farr. Long distance ball for Jahate. Rasmussen couldn't keep it in play.
Just an unfortunate touch for Lou City, because he had numbers and he had the right players going forward.
So much of the offense during this streak of success as Ioze is clipped by Masoso. So much of this offense has been funneled through Pasher down the left side. Now where does the offense go with Pasher on the sidelines?
Well, you know, the nice part is Aliun has shown himself to be a dangerous player right now. And, you know, with them playing 3 in the back and the 11 finding the space for him to, you know, to either collect the ball and be dangerous or collect the ball and look to combine with somebody, that's been effective. Also, you've got Indy Voltson, who's playing underneath a little bit, and his playmaking ability is brilliant. And then, you know, don't forget you've got Dane Kelly sitting on the bench that can come in and bring in pace if that's where you decide to go.
This portion of this match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. Well, those long balls that were creating opportunities in the first half have been a bit better defended as of late by Lou City. Good win by Ouimet.
Well, I'll tell you, the best way to defend those balls into space is to keep the ball. And Lou City's done a pretty good job of knocking it around and putting the 11 on their heels here in the first 15 minutes of the second half.
Indy Voltson's onside after the flick from Farias, trying to find Jahate. Pay got a boot to it for Lou City. Ouimet again, the aerial win. Now Watson had it knocked away. And Osmond can casually head that ball back to Jordan Farr with Spencer. Not really in the vicinity. You get updates and alerts all year long by following your club at ESPN.com. Search for Indy 11 and click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus get reminders on the 11's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for more on your club. McCabe sets it up, and Farr is there. And Farr not wasting time, wants to hit the reset button.
Good combination. Best way to break pressure. And then you wear it down a little bit, and then you just break the lines.
Good give and go here between Iose and Hackshaw. Hackshaw gets there first. Indy Voltson with some space. Indy Voltson looking for Jahate.
Oh my goodness. The vision to see that run is there, and the execution to just lift that ball in behind the defender. That's incredible.
I'll repeat what we said at halftime. When we talk about the bio of Thomas Indy Voltson from last year in Orange County, we immediately go to 20 goals first. He also had 10 assists last season, too.
And you can see it. I mean, it's just absolute brilliance. He knows where everybody is. His players, his supporting players. He knows where the defenders are, and he understands where the space is.
And Hubbard being told to advance the ball forward. Trust me, I don't think Louisville at this point is content to play for a point. They're looking for the whole thing. They won 3 tonight. I don't think that was an example of time wasting for Louisville's perspective. Jahate, good lead for Iose. Iose ask for a handball, they'll get it. And they'll get a card to go with it as well. So Swahi picks up a card. It is a card collectors convention at this point for Louisville. Swahi, Del Piccolo, and Craig have all picked up yellows in tonight's match. And that's because of the prevention of the opportunity, whether intentional or not. That's the reason why the card was shown there.
That was a good ball in behind, but unless you're some kind of freakish, flexible athlete, I don't think that was intentional.
Iose getting some instructions from Martin. I think that's the other person at the end of the conversation you did not see. As our cameras focused on the Spaniard that Was a phenomenal pickup a season ago by the Indy 11.
Tip your hat to Martin Rennie, too. I don't know if you saw it during your halftime interview, but there was a ball as Dane Kelly was warming up that knocked over to Martin. He did not break stride in his conversation with you, and one touched it back to the guys warming up.
It was Oprah on social media yesterday, Martin Rennie today.
Well, I don't know that you can compare those touches.
Walker looking back post, but Hubbard got to it. Hubbard from Louisville, Trinity High School. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year his senior year of high school in Kentucky. But he played his college soccer just up the road at the University of Notre Dame. McCabe, the target.
What a ball.
Pinpoint ball. The touch a bit errant. And Iose will do just enough to get in the way for an Indy 11 throw-in. Or for a goal kick, excuse me. And Farr has been restarting like he's running the facility. But you can see why, because he found Watson behind the defense. Watson finds some space. Watson gets a settling touch. But the time it took those high hops to bounce allowed the defenders to get back. Farias could not load or could not find Jahate. Enevoldsen, Walker. But Swahi gets there next for Lou City. And then Jahate commits a foul behind the play.
I'm not sure. Well, he did touch him on the back.
The line about diving was a lot better when the games were played at Carroll Stadium. The auditorium was much closer back then than it is now.
Oh, good touch.
Deft touch by Watson, but couldn't find Enevoldsen. Watson at 34 has settled well into this super sub role for the Indy 11 this year. And that'll be a foul against Spencer. Good job by Hackshaw to carve out some space.
Well, the one thing that, Pasher brings to the game, not just the pace and the creativity, but you got to know he's on the field for Lou City, and he's a threat wherever he's at. And at the moment with him off the field, you just feel a different vibe coming out of Lou City right now. There's confidence. They just don't feel threatened at the moment.
Jahate trying to find an inkling of space. It will at least be a throw in here for the Indy 11. This portion of this match presented by Delta Faucet. Delta Faucet. See what Delta can do. The faucet has been turned off in terms of the goal scoring opportunities for the Indy 11 as of late. A Tyler Met whistled for a foul and not happy with the call. Quick restart. Spencer trying to get around Osmond.
Unfortunate.
But a handball, I believe, has been called just outside of the 18. The assistant referee made the call. Card has been shown. Now, I believe no penalty, but I also believe outside of the box is the opportunity. The referee was going to wave it off. It was the AR that put his flag up and said, yes, there was a handball there from Osmond. But again, I believe no penalty, but yet another dangerous set piece coming up here for Louisville City.
Now here, especially with the control from Del Piccolo on that last one, you got to put your 5 in the wall. And maybe that gives them an opportunity to play some sort of combination.
This will tell us about the geography of the play, and that's the right call. It's outside of the 18. That's the correct call. Now again, you can say, hey, his hand was touched against his body. It wasn't exactly in a natural position. But if you're going to call the handball, putting it just outside of the 18 is the right call.
And the other part with it, even though it was against his body, if it does not hit his hand, I think Spencer cuts across the front and has an open look at the goal. So I don't think you're wrong. You go either direction on this one. I think those sitting in purple think it's the right call over there, and those sitting down there in red and blue do not agree with the call.
By the way, Macaulay King is going to enter this match at some point for the Indy 11. Not sure for whom at this point, but he is standing by assistant coach Juan Guerra. And when the fourth official gets the ringing out of his ears from John Hackworth yelling at him, he'll be able to check into the match.
And I think at some point here, you know, regardless of what happens here, whether this goes in or this doesn't, bringing in Dane Kelly and his pace and his threat, you know, puts Louisville back on their heels a little bit.
Can it be anybody other than Del Piccolo after the ball he just hit?
Yeah, you can use him as a decoy, but as on as that shot was,
it's Del Piccolo, but timed directly and far. Obviously could not locate the same window from a much closer distance. By the way, this portion of the match brought to us by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Indiana, a state that works. Well, full credit, as a flag is called against Rasmussen, full credit goes to Lou City. They have played like a championship pedigree team. They have answered the bell here in half number 2.
Absolutely. I mean, you get punched in the mouth in the first 10 minutes. That's a tough thing because your whole everything you've been training for this game, everything that you've designed in your game plan gets put to the side because now you're down a goal, and that changes what you wanted to do in this match.
Lucas Farias out, Macaulay King in, so the Indy 11 down to 1 sub for the final 20-ish minutes of the match. So King goes to the right side with Ioze playing the left side. By the way, that yellow, as we expected, went to Mitch Osmond. Second yellow of the match shown to an Indy 11 player, Farias the other. Fans, the USL Academy unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest levels across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Yeah, credit Lou City, not just what they have done offensively, but defensively. Those glaring openings that were there against their back third in the first half haven't been there in half number 2.
And it comes a little bit with what they're doing up the field. They're able to get now a little bit more pressure to the ball in the midfield and on the 11's back line, and that is denying the easy serve into the space for Jahate.
King will nudge those signs just a bit back to give him some more room. And launches this one. Walker again tried with the volley of the year candidate. He had one last year against Ottawa. Tried to pull that one out of midair. Couldn't do it. Watson the target. Ioze the supporting run. Ioze slides it for Watson. Watson plays it across. No one really there, but it'll be a deep throw in here for Indy. And the newly acquired player for Louisville City, Antoine Hopino, going to get an opportunity here coming up. He is headed towards the fourth official. He was traded for yesterday by Louisville. Hubbard reads the throw in, spilled it for a moment, but never a threat for Indy.
And while he's been with the team just a short time, he's got experience with Hackworth and Cruz from their time in the MLS. So it's not an unfamiliar style and game that he brings. They understand what they're getting when they got him. And he clearly understands what they want when they brought him in.
Well, you talked about when he entered the match, the versatility that Matt Watson has in his game. I'm not sure I've ever seen him play this far forward in a match, but it's what's needed right now for this team.
And he's so good at turning the corner on an edge defender and driving that ball across the box.
Ball finds its way to Enevoldsen, trying to flick it to Walker, but couldn't connect to him. Leads to a turnover. Opportunity here. Rasmussen, Spencer to his right, looking to leave the ball left.
Brilliantly played.
Osmond held his ground. And now Enevoldsen off to the races. Enevoldsen tries to get in front. Enevoldsen couldn't slide it by. Rebound opportunity. Not there. Jahate couldn't get there first. And a throw in coming for Lou City.
What an effort. Not just the speed, but the physicality that those two battled for the ball for 20 yards. And then to actually get an opportunity and a shot from it.
No one will put in more effort for 90 minutes than Thomas Enevoldsen.
He's a beast.
So Openo is in. Ownby is out. Openo, the native of France. Each team has 8 substitution remaining. Good win by Osmond. This portion of this match presented by Ivy Tech. Careers start here. Apply for free at ivytech.edu. And it appears that Dane Kelly will be that third substitution. Kind of wondered how much gas he'd have in the tank tonight. It's going to be asked for about 15 minutes worth.
And you look at the press from Lou City right now. They're forcing the 11 to knock it back to an outside back. And then they're pinching him from straight on.
Farr makes a play at it. Now has to scramble back. King wins it away from Openo. And now King has some open territory. Jahate and Enevoldsen in front. King waiting. Watson couldn't spring it forward. This portion of this match presented by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Indy 11 have had a lot of late game winners, but most of them have come from a guy that just left the match in Tyler Pasher. Jahate had one 7 days ago. Is there another one in the cards for the Indy 11? Foul whistle against Wimet. So Dane Kelly will be that third sub. He is making his way to the fourth official now. McCabe spots Spencer. Spencer!
Got to be ready for that quick throw. Gave too easy of an opportunity.
And the quick restart, I've referenced it for Jordan Farr from his position, but Louisville's been all about quick restarts tonight.
And I tell you, I think both teams are saying, look, we'd rather play this in front of your back three than our back three.
Jahate will see his night come to an end. Well, it's been a great week for Alioune Jahate. His first Indy 11 goal, the game winner last week against Atlanta United 2. Outstanding effort in a starting role to give Dane Kelly a breather on Wednesday. Created numerous chances tonight. And so Dane Kelly, the all-time leading goal scorer in the USL. Only 4 this year. His last goal came against Red Bulls 2 in the last Indy 11 loss 2 months ago.
And you look at how impactful. He had a great game. But he was more impactful early on. And I think once Pasher came out, Suwahi has to play a little bit wider when Pasher's in there because he wants to try and deny him touches. And that opens up a little bit more of the center channel for Alioune.
Rasmussen. Spencer. Farr up to the challenge yet again.
Great combination.
Still one sub remains for Louisville here in minute number 80. McCabe. Ball flicked. Farr will watch it. And let's see, is this going to be a foul called outside of the 18? Yes, it will be. Ioze shown a card. So yet again, a set piece. This will be more of a short corner. But Ioze picks up the yellow. And again, flirting with danger.
And you got a few opportunities here. It's, you know, it's not certainly not a ball you can shoot, but you've got a ball you can drive across the box. You've got something that you can lay off to the top of the box for a shot.
Second card shown that was just outside of the 18. Jimenez and Rasmussen, players that appear to take this. Spencer and Ouimet leveraging for position as we speak. It's Jimenez. Had it down, but
oh my goodness.
A missed opportunity for Louisville.
I think that was Paco Craig, right spot, won the ball, just got to get over it and head it down. Pay.
Flag goes up as we return to live action.
It's been physical. I don't see that volume being turned down at all in these last 10 minutes here.
We talked about it in the opening of the broadcast heading back to last year. It did not take long for this match to have a rivalry feel to it. Now Kelly applying pressure. Fresh legs for Kelly. Couldn't get there in time to Hubbard on his clearance. Well played by Hackshaw. He's got both Osman and Farr as outlets. And Osman racing back into position to keep that ball away from Spencer.
Good win. That was a tough ball for Osman, and Spencer was betting that he wasn't going to get it.
Fans, be sure to tune to ESPN3 on Wednesday night. It's Wednesday night soccer. Two of the premier clubs out west, Sacramento Republic FC, Fresno FC, Highway 99 Derby.
Oh, what a ball.
Hopino here. Goal kick coming.
From Magnuson.
Trying to score a goal in his first Louisville City match after being acquired a day ago. Didn't miss by much. Like in Wednesday night soccer, Sacramento Republic, Fresno, 11 o'clock Eastern time Wednesday on ESPN3. And now Enob Olsen. The race is on with Swahi. Swahi able to win it. Hackshaw has figured out how to play this turf quite well, is he not?
Yeah, it's almost like he was born on it. He reads the bounces incredibly well.
Spent the last 3 years with the Charleston Battery. Featured in 75 matches for the Battery before joining the Indy 11. And Watson couldn't get the right touch. Indy 11 does have 3 draws in this building this year. The last one coming on May 25th against Nashville. Del Piccolo couldn't get it through. And that's another foul against Indy. That's against King. And you've heard me say this before. A dangerous reset opportunity here for Lou City. And Lou City's third substitution now quickly heading towards the bench. Sean Tosh, the player that will be asked to come into this match. Not yet, but it appears it'll be him. He is more of a defensive-minded substitution. So that could be if this is converted here by Louisville. It's Jimenez who appears to be the one-man option this time around. High line being kept by the Indy 11. Jimenez lobs it in. King got there first. Foul whistled against Louisville. McKing, the fresh legs into the game for Indy, did a good job in thwarting that opportunity. Quick restart looking for Kelly. And Kelly somehow 1v4 comes out of there with it. But couldn't beat defenders 5 and 6.
Yeah, and I tell you, I think the effective ball for Kelly is not going to be that ball that he's got to fight for like that. It's very similar to where Jahate was finding success is. Find underneath Ioze or Ina Voltson and have them play it into the space for Dane Kelly to use his speed and to run onto.
Great turn by Osmond to keep that ball away from Spencer. Fans, wherever you go, take the boys in blue with you. Download the all-new Indy 11 app in the Apple Store or get it on Google Play. Gibson the flick forward, but again, nobody there right now. And frankly, this second half has been tilted in favor of Louisville the entire time.
Yeah, the feel, the temperature of it has changed, whether it's the goal by Del Piccolo or whether it is the loss of Pasher. The connectivity of the 11 right now has been, non-existent.
Final 5 minutes plus stoppage time. Brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Farr couldn't get it to it cleanly. Hackshaw wins it away. Ina Voltson trying to find Kelly, but Craig got there first. And Spencer just a hair offside.
I tell you, that's a tough read by Jordan Farr. That ball's right on the edge of his range. But if he doesn't come to play it, it might be a tap in. Watson tries to play it across, but nobody made the supporting run. And now yet again, opportunity for Louisville. Spencer and Rasmussen to the right of Hopono. Couldn't get it through. Blocked by Walker. Throw in coming. Great recovery by Kenny Walker. Ouimet was pushed a little bit high on that last ball. Kenny Walker's, you could just see he was exhausted, but he wasn't going to quit on tracking that ball down.
Ball played across. Farr is there. When does a point become a good thing for the Indy 11 tonight? Or have we already hit that mark?
Well, the way that the second half has unfolded, I think you'd take it because there just hasn't been a dangerous opportunity. If there's maybe one this half, Ina Voltson on the breakaway. And you're defending, and these are dangerous moments that Lou City's presenting you with.
Ina Voltson couldn't get there in time. Now McKay. Bit of a miscommunication there between he and Del Piccolo. And then Del Piccolo with the hip toss on Gibson. Those guys have had just a couple of battles over the years. Again, Tyler played with FC Cincinnati on a limited basis last year due to injury. Well, you watch Jordan Farr hit the reset button. We glance at the fourth official to see exactly how much in terms of stoppage time might be left tonight. Kelly went to the turf, no whistle. While I don't think Louisville will be content with a point if it ends this way, I think they can feel outstanding about their effort to get said point tonight. But there might be something in the cards. You never know. 3 minutes of added time we'll have at the end of tonight's match.
The fourth official on the sideline has indicated that a minimum of 3 minutes will be added to the end of the second half.
Good touch.
There's Osmond yet again. And now Kelly. Can he find some space?
1v1.
Enevoldsen wants it in a spot. Kelly hasn't given it to him yet. Now plays it across when he wasn't there.
Oh, tough opportunity. Enevoldsen broke off his run. He thought Kelly was taking him alone.
Less than a minute into stoppage time. Ball couldn't clear Macaulay King. Now plenty of space for Del Piccolo. Openo looking for Spencer. Spencer couldn't get to it.
Good read by Hackshaw.
But Gibson trying to find Kelly, and Kelly McCabe. Osmond. Great ball by Osmond. Advantage being played. Iose charges forward. Gibson. Just waiting for some teammates. And does the wise thing to find Ouimet. Let the build up a little bit.
And I tell you, great defense by Masoso in there. He jumped into the lane so Gibson couldn't get it to Iose, who is the playmaker who would be able to find Dane Kelly or Enevoldsen.
And King will play this ball back to Osmond. Even though the ball's going in reverse. You want 3, you're trying to defend the 1 if you're Indy 11. Iose.
Ridiculous.
Sizes up his options. With the right foot. Enevoldsen the flick. Kelly races back. Jimenez will take no chances. And now if you're the Indy 11, take your time. Send Iose to the corner and try to make this corner kick potentially the last ball of the night. A little more of a defensive presence, though, will come on. Sean Tosh from Northern Illinois University will be coming in to replace Oscar Jimenez.
What a touch by Iose. That's just incredible.
But it's become the norm. It's what we expect from him every night.
You still can't get over it.
So one more big body to try to slow down this look on goal for Indy.
And I tell you, it's a good decision too. He's a blue-collar, hard-nosed defender. And at this point in the game, you pretty much figure there's 1, 2, maybe 3 touches left in it. You can't fall asleep here and cost yourself a couple points.
Ball didn't get through. Ricocheted back to midfield. They'll play the ball back to Farr with the idea he can just kind of throw it up one more time. See if you can latch on to a lucky pass. Kelly couldn't get a settling touch. And that's it. A point for all sides this evening. Well, the 5-match winning streak stops for the Indy 11. However, they will go through the months of both May and June unbeaten. 10 wins, 4 draws, 2 losses on the season, and they also maintain 8 points of distance at the midway point of the season above the 2-time defending Cup champions.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you're happy you got a point. You're happy you get those streaks to continue. You're happy you got 2 weeks off, but we're a bit spoiled. You've grown accustomed to walking away with 3 points.
Maybe there were more chances for a goal in half number one. Those chances few and far between in half number two. And credit the defensive effort of Indy in half number two for allowing only the brilliant free kick ball from Paolo Del Piccolo. Del Piccolo for Louisville, Pasher for Indy 11. A goal apiece, a point apiece tonight at Lucas Oil Stadium. Our West Fork Whiskey shot of the game comes your way when we come back as you're watching Indy 11 soccer on Wish TV and ESPN+. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And by Community Health, exceptional care simply delivered. Community Health Network. Well, Tyler Pasher exited tonight's game early, but not before he scored his 7th goal of the season, which is our West Fork Whiskey shot of the game. West Fork Whiskey, Indiana's premier whiskey distillery, and Tyler Pasher, this franchise's premier goal scorer this season.
Incredible finish. And you take a look at that. It's a great give and go, but he gets tripped up as he's making that run through and still catches his feet and is able to tuck that ball away.
For the Indy 11, next up, some R&R. They are off next weekend. They will then be on the road at Hartford Athletic in 2 weeks. So the next time that we are here together for Indy 11 Soccer on Wish TV will be when Loudoun United comes to Lucas Oil Stadium. That is Saturday, July 20th, and our pre-match coverage begins at 7 o'clock. Our post-match coverage is about to get started for a second time over because we have our Central Indiana Honda Dealers post-game show. We'll talk with head coach Martin Rennie, goalkeeper Jordan Farr, and team captain Matt Watson. One for the home side in the first half, one for the visitors in half number two. A point for each side. Thank you for joining us tonight for Indy 11 Soccer. You've been watching on Wish TV and ESPN+.
Cast or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.